Hey, everybody, it's the Dynamite Show. Paul Fontaine, Jeff Hawkins here coming at you on a Wednesday night right after Dynamite ended. Thought we were going to escape the dreaded overrun this week, but nope. John asked, are they contractually obligated to have overruns? I think so. And then he said, why don't you start 30 minutes past the hour from now on? Well, John, the reason for that is
because then they'll push the overrun to 40 after. And then
not just that, but I'm like, it's already going to be like almost 11 o'clock my time when we're done. And I wouldn't mind, like getting to sleep at a decent hour. So I will start the show as early as I possibly can. But so we had a Dynamite tonight. It was the Fallout show from Revolution. Oh, and hi to everybody listening on the audio feed as well. But yeah, that was Revolution was Sunday night. And I still have not even finished watching the show.
At what point are you?
I think I've just got the main event left because the last thing I watched was the Dogs against whoever they wrestled, Darby, OC, and Roddy Strong.
So you have not yet seen the hypodermic needle through the cheek?
I guess not. Was that in the main event?
Yes.
Yeah. So no, I did find out who won on the show tonight. And and that's kind of what I was expecting all along. I know a lot. It's funny because when it originally happened, was announced, everyone assumed Hangman was going to win, and then over the last month or so, everyone came around to our side. Everybody, when it first announced, it was like, "Oh, Hangman has to win. If Hangman doesn't win, it's the worst booking ever." Blah 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 blah. And then by the time this match came, everyone knew MJF was winning. So I mean, that's what we said all along. I listened to the show because remember I was away on holidays when the show was announced, when the stip was announced, and you were on the show with Keela, and Keela thought Hangman was going to win, and you said no, it's more interesting if MJF wins.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think people are coming around to the idea that Tony wants a do-over of this code.
Yes.
Thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my original theory. Was that it was a retcon of the code.
So Plethora, we know what you're talking about, and we will talk about this in a bit. We want to give our Revolution thoughts first, but then that'll bleed into what we're going to talk about. But hello, boys, been a rough couple days for wrestling media. Hopefully, you guys can get this thing back on track. So,
you may not like my opinion on this, Plethora. I'm just
was there wrestling media involved in all this too, or
we'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay. Because I will tell everybody this because I only started watching Revolution today. I haven't listened to any podcasts. I've been avoiding social media as much as possible. I did have a couple things kind of spoiled for me. One was by Jeff, actually. No, it wasn't just you. But actually, I went on YouTube because I was looking for something. And of course, my feed is full of AEW shit. And it was like, they love to spoil everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've learned my lesson. I can't go on YouTube now if after a pay-per-view if I'm trying to avoid results. So, so, I mean, okay, here's the thing. I got feedback from people, without spoiling because they knew I hadn't watched it. It was an all-timer pay-per-view was what somebody told me. Someone else said it was one of the best pay-per-views they ever did. I heard that Brian Alvarez said before the main event, he already thought it was the best pay-per-view of all time. Okay, I just watched this show. This was not the best pay-per-view of all time. It was a really good show. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the show. There were some bad matches on this show. That prevents it from being an all-timer, in my opinion. The three women's matches were not good. I mean, one of them was okay. The other two were not good at all. That Dogs match was like a collision opener. If you took the 6 best matches on the show and that was the whole show and it was 3.5 hours long, it was the best pay-per-view of all time. But when you have a 4.5 hour show with a bunch of filler, I can't call it the best pay-per-view of all time. I disagree, Fernando. I thought the Sting Revolution was
one was much better, I thought.
Yeah.
But
again, this was a good show, a really good show.
I think a lot of my issues with Revolution were in match positioning.
Yeah, that was part of it.
And also tone in some ways. A lot. It felt like one of those old school, I won't even say not XWF. What was the name of the ECW knockout off that was here in Los Angeles?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. XPW?
XPW. It felt a little bit like that at times. It felt like everybody got to do. It felt like a Brian Cage pay-per-view in that sense. It's like they got to get their shit in,
including the booker. With all the returns and debuts and everything. And I think
that was a problem for it too, because it's like, okay, this match is supposed to be important, and then hey, we're bringing out the thing that's actually important right now.
Right.
But like tonally, I mean, it felt like, I forget if it was Starrcade 84 or 85, where every match was a bloodbath. And then it was leading up to, like, I think it might have been 85, where it's leading up to the Magnum Tully match. And it's like every other match decided to get juice.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? When you watch that as a pay-per-view, you go, wow, okay, let's just take away from the violence of this match. Like, your opening match was the blood feud over people who attacked somebody's family.
And they lost.
And you got to go from there. I'm not saying the matches were bad at all, but it's just like,
no, the matches were good.
There's a tonal problem here, and it's like
in the ring. Okay, so I haven't seen the main event yet, but in the ring, I thought the opener was the best match on the show. In the ring, but the freaking booking. You had the kids out there. You had them in the front row. You had the one kid. Come on, Dad, get in there, do it. And they hit them with their move, and they freaking lost. And not only did they lose, they hit him with the Meltzer driver. Dax was up 15 seconds later and got the win. Like, they didn't just win. They took their best move and beat them clean. I'm sorry. Like, that was some bad booking right there. And then you had Edge and Christian come out. Now, let me ask you this, Jeff. Do you think, is it pretty much a consensus, we'd say, that AEW, in terms of their shows and the creative, maybe the show quality has been really, really good ever since MJF won the belt? Like the last couple months, you say?
I would say so. I would say so. I think it's been a lot more angle heavy, which is
right.
Nice.
And good matches, great matches, and yeah, angle heavy. The personalities are over, right? Like, they're getting people over. So it was puzzling to me that you're in that situation where everything's going great. And what's your solution? Let's bring in Edge and Christian, and let's bring in Ronda Rousey, and let's bring in, Will. I mean, I can't argue with Will, but I do question Ronda Rousey. I do understand why you bring in Ronda Rousey. Like, it's great for publicity. It's going to get eyeballs on them that they wouldn't have otherwise had. I can't argue with that. But
did we have 3 surprise? Well, no, because the
4
was later. But like but it's like, if you have 1 surprise, it's special. If you have 4, it's not. It's one of those things where they're trying to repeat that thing from what, Full Gear a few years ago, where it's like Danielson and you had Adam,
or all out 2021. That's
I think my other problem is slightly based on things in modern wrestling that have started to just get to me, and that is, every match here was all the drama is based around kicking out at 1 out of a big finishing move.
Yeah.
And it started to do that, and it started to be like that in every match. Like, these are athletes with some of the best cardio in the world right now, which is different than my time. But back then, when like Dave, oh man, this guy is so gassed. Yeah, because it feels like he should be gassed. These guys don't get there's Ricky Morton doesn't exist because nobody ever wants to die from a move. They're just kind of like, I'm gonna crawl a little bit and then I'll get back up. Texas death matches where guys are down on the ground out at 9 and they just pop back up at 10, and you're just like, all right.
In some
where's
ways,
the struggle?
In some ways, my favorite match on the show was Brody and Swerve, just because it felt like a fight.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah, like
I really liked that Andrade match.
I did too. I did too, and I thought that was the second best match on the show, besides the Young Bucks
and
FTR.
And FTR are so fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't seen the main event, so John says I'm going to hate the main event. He's probably right.
I think you're not gonna. I think you're gonna get turned off by the main event very early, and then you're not.
I may get turned off and still say it was a great match.
Okay.
But even if it was the best match I've ever seen, I don't think it was enough to bring this pay-per-view up to like a quote unquote all-timer. Just because like that Willow match, that Divas tag team match was bad. Yes. The Tony Marina match was weird. And Chris and Tekla did not need to be 2 out of 3 falls, and it was too long. and I'm not. It sounds like I'm picking on the women. I mean, just
we love Temple here, and we love the Megan Bain team here. So I mean, it's not that we weren't rooting for them. It's that there were things that were off in those matches.
Well, here's the problem, and I kind of knew this going in, but I was taking everybody's word for it that told me I was wrong. Lena Cross isn't quite ready for this.
No, she's not. She's in there. She is Sid. She's in there with a veteran as part of that team.
Yeah. And eventually she'll get over, hopefully.
But she's over. She should have done a one-on-one match on the pre-show, though. That was
Did you watch that?
Yes, and
I watched the pre-show.
But then again, there was a bad taste in my mouth until that battle royal, and that battle royal was terrible. I'm sorry,
it was battle royal was so bad. I mean, the last couple minutes of it was okay, but I mean, it was just spot, and like nobody's in the ring, and like you have no idea what's going on. The only time they would come into the ring is so they could get eliminated. It was so.
She knows I'm on the air, and I love my mom, but she's just blowing up my phone right now, and I'm like, "What are you doing, woman? You know when I do my podcast."
At least you didn't have wrestlers blowing you up and telling you their opinion about the crowd tonight.
Well, that's true.
So I mean, I thought it was a good show. I'm only pushing back against people that were saying it was like one of the best pay-per-views of all time. Like I give it like, I haven't seen the main event yet, but so far it feels like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10, which, that's really good. It's better than any WWE show I've seen in a long time.
I think rewatch factor is a big one for me, and I'm never gonna go back and rewatch an AEW pay-per-view again for the most part because you just can't. You don't have, you need a second job to do it. So
I need a second job just to watch it the first time. Like I started watching the show. I turned it on. Well, I watched the pre-show last night before I went to bed, and then I turned the show on today at 2:30. I watched the first match. Then I had to do some work, and then I turned it on again at 5. That's 5 my time, so 6 Eastern. And I watched it till 7:30, so 2.5 hours. And I got all the way almost to the main event. So that's a long time to dedicate to one wrestling show.
I had pre-show done Sunday night when I got home from the airport, and then I watched it Monday during the day as I worked. So
and I've got a log of shows I got to watch now because I still haven't finished this show. But but again, I'm glad I watched it. I will say this though, like if I didn't sign up for that MyAEW thing, I wouldn't have bought the show. Like I would have just said, nah, there's no, sorry, I can't. I wasn't gonna try and get the show done in time for this, and pay for it. The fact that I didn't have to pay for it was great. I did. I guess I paid for it, but just not as much as some other people did. Yeah.
Full freight, baby. Look at me, I'm the sucker.
There you go. Well, you got HBO Max. You got $10 off, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's my brother's HBO Max for the most part that I use for the help.
Well, this isn't quite true. He said the first 2.5 hours were great. No, the best 2.5 hours were great because the first 2.5 hours had those 3 women's matches in them.
Mm-hmm.
And then next hour's downer and main event was exciting. Yeah, I don't know about that.
And so. I was surprised that the 6-man belts or the trios titles switched hands.
I was too. And then I saw people made like a really big deal about Mystico as all elite, and I was like, oh, cool. Like I just
another luchador in America.
Well, no, it's not that. I mean, Mystico's a big star and everything. Like I already thought he was. So to me, it wasn't that big of a deal.
I want somebody to make a luchador a big star that isn't Rey Mysterio or Eddie Guerrero, or based on the backs of that. I mean, in America,
Andrade is close.
Andrade's close, but he ain't there yet, man.
I mean, the closest might be Grande Americano.
Well, it might be Dominic, but
it might be Dominic, yeah. Especially if he could lose a match where he has to put a mask on. That'd be kind of funny.
All right, let's get to the unpleasantness.
Yeah, so I guess Ricochet, did he lose that title because of the tweet? I know,
no.
I'm kidding, because the tweet happened after that he lost the title.
Yes.
But so I was alerted to the fact that Rick, and again, I've been keeping off social media, but somebody forwarded this to me and I didn't know what it was, so I opened it up and it was Ricochet who, and it just so happens, and I don't know if this is why the person sent it to me, but the young lady was from Winnipeg. Do you see? She loves the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and she isn't going to let MS run her life. And this is in her bio. And then she tweets out, his acting hasn't improved at all, and then a bunch of smiley faces, like she's making fun of Ricochet. And Ricochet responds by saying, I'm glad you have MS.
Okay, let's get certain things out of the way first. That tweet from that young lady did not deserve that response from Ricochet, and it was terrible to do that.
Yes. I've been a victim of hate tweets from wrestlers, so I can relate. And mine wasn't anywhere near as bad as hers.
Yours was about theme songs and stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, mine was more Punk was more justified in his than Ricochet was in his. There are ways that he could have responded that would have been funny and would have been fine. He could have said, I'm better at acting than your Bombers are at football.
Yeah, you could have done the cheap thing. Or you could just
at least I don't live in a city where there's 20 feet of snow on the ground in March.
Am I going to try and make some excuse that he was trying to do heel heat or something? No, because that would be stupid. This tweet didn't deserve that strong of a clapback. And I'm the person who thinks occasionally you do need to clap back against some of these morons on Twitter. I don't do it often. I barely do it because I'm starting to
Nino
not like
Hamburgerosa lost his job for reacting to a fan.
Yeah, well, he hit a fan. There's a difference.
Right. Yeah, but he was reacting.
Now, where I have a strong part, and this is where Plethora and I will probably diverge, and I apologize to him in advance. I am not picking on him personally. If you are very angry about this, you have that right, and I will give that to you. I don't think this rises to a news story that somebody acted like an asshole on Twitter. I just don't. And there's a lot of people. Well, the Wrestling Observer didn't cover this, and Fightful didn't cover this, and they're laying the blame at the two people who are heads of that site but don't actually run the sites.
Well, and I'm kind of covered it. The Observer hasn't even come out yet.
No, well, like on their webpage, on their front site.
Okay.
On and like Sean Ross Sapp had taken a vacation day or something, and Jeremy hadn't bothered to use it as news, but they covered the apology and stuff like that too. So it then got into so and so is paid off by blah blah blah, and it got into conspiracy stuff. And Sean Ross Sapp today had to have one of these dumb trolls who are just looking to grift for views because he has a small little channel. And he just wanted to say that he was on the take from AEW. I'm like, if there's a guy who's not on the take from AEW, it is Sean Ross Sapp, who doesn't necessarily get along with Tony Khan. So it's one of these.
And Dave is not on the take from AEW, first of all, even though he's very favorable to them. Number two, Dave has absolutely nothing to do with what goes on the front page.
Exactly.
Including himself. Like, he can't even put something on the front page without it getting approved by editorial staff. Peeling back the onion a little bit. But also, but it is like when he is at a show one week and sitting in the front row having the time of his life with comp tickets, and then calls their pay-per-view the best pay-per-view of all time, and then doesn't report on a story like this, it's giving people ammo. I know Dave. I know he's reporting honestly and he's giving his honest opinion. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, but I'm saying people that want to criticize Dave for his opinions and say that he's bought and paid for, they've got the ammo.
And this is where I start on the social media games with there's a way you can always tell that somebody is not really believing what they said, but they want to put pressure on a company or a human resources department or something like that. This isn't a good look for.
Right.
And there was a lot of that.
You know what, the funny thing, I said those exact words to somebody, but I didn't put it out publicly. I just said it in a private group chat. I said, this isn't a good look for Ricochet. And someone responded, yeah, I agree. But that's it.
Well, I mean about the company. Like, people have done this.
So you're talking about this. So it isn't a good look for AEW or for.
Correct.
Okay,
for AEW.
Okay. And he wasn't on the show tonight, although there's a good chance he wasn't going to be anyways.
Right. And to me, I mean, look, being part of a mob it makes you feel empowered. And I get that. But there's a lot of, I liken it to game theory. And there's something called the ultimatum game. And I don't know if you know what the ultimatum game is, but you have two people and you tell them, I'm giving this person $100. And this person's going to decide how much they give to you. And if you accept their offer, you get to keep it. If you reject that offer, neither of you get any money. And there's a lot that goes on with fame about that. And now your your logical thinking in economic terms was anything above 0 you should take because it's more than you take. But there's a certain fairness thing that goes inside people where they're like, well, wait a second. He has and they will reject any offer under 30% because they feel it's unfair. So they will burn it all down. And that's a lot like what being famous on Twitter is like. I am sharing my fame with you, but I should be allowed to burn that down at any time if you say something untoward or we don't like. And I'm watching how people react, and I'm watching people try and stir stuff up to get like, what do you want out of this? Do you want Ricochet fired for doing this? I don't know if it reaches to that level, but I won't be happy about that either. But there are some people who would be very happy. And I've seen this now in some just, some not just, with plenty of wrestlers and plenty of dumb things said. And now people can't work here or there. And I'm just like, guys.
He did. I should point out, he did apologize.
And it wasn't at the behest of the company or one.
Right. And I thought the apology was okay. Like, it was not, I've seen better. I've seen a lot worse.
I've seen a lot better.
Yeah.
It felt like an apology where it's like, I need to apologize to cut this off.
Right.
But it's not, I don't feel
sorry. They are in Winnipeg in 2 weeks. And I do think that maybe they obviously you're not going to put it on TV. But they should do something. They should try to find this woman, and Ricochet should, maybe personally apologize.
Yes, I think that'd be nice.
Yeah, and we don't need to hear about it. So if he does, I hope I never hear about it. But if I hear in a year from now, oh, by the way, when that happened, Ricochet went and apologized to the woman in Winnipeg, and maybe like even get a picture of, and they give her comp tickets or something like that. Like,
I don't know. Maybe it's I've gotten older. I've cared somewhat less about. I need to see justice done,
right?
The way that I think it should be done.
But what's justice for this? Take his Twitter away. That's justice.
Things will take care. I think everybody needs to get off social media.
Well,
I do. I mean, I'm one of those people. I use it for laughs and arcane references and Virginia sports for the most part. But
being offline the last 3 days. I mean, I will say, like, my life is a lot easier. I have a guy on Twitter who's trying to bait me into a fight about subjects I don't want to discuss on my Twitter, and I'm just like, no, I don't do that here. This is for fun and games and stuff like that. I get that you think these things are important. I don't, so I'm not going to talk about it with you. Yeah, and I made some good friends on social media, and I keep that up, and that's what DMs are for. And I got some, and I get some information sometimes.
Put plethoras, because it is a fair point. Yes, they aggregate and they go for clicks and clickbait, and I don't know if it should.
So plethora
half a fight. Okay, I'll let you read it then.
Just so for the listeners, if your opinion is that's not a news story, that's fine. However, look at what garbage they do post. There's a post right now on F4W talking about who the MLW announced team is. That's my problem. And
the MLW announced team is different than, say, like I was gonna go, like, if you go with an example of Kevin Nash talking about Javon Evans on his
that's a good one. That's a better one. Yeah.
That's an apples to apples thing, and I will grant you, I don't think that crap's news either, but some people do, and everybody. I guess it depends on what your level of news you want is. Do you want Us Magazine, where it's like every single piece of gossip and stuff appears there, or do you want actual, I don't want to say things that matter, because wrestling doesn't matter in the grand sense, but I mean, just, quote unquote news. Here's personnel things, here's this, here's that. Like, I'm fine with your point of view, Plethora. It is, and if you think it's a story, that's great. I didn't think it rose to the level of news where celebrity acts like jackass. It's one of these things where I don't think a lot of celebrities anyways. So It's one of those things, and this might be me living in LA and having to deal with celebrities who are jackasses in their ordinary course of life, doing ordinary things because they think as celebrities they should be getting
is this the wrestling?
Eva Longoria.
Is this the wrestling version of Timothy Chalamet saying that nobody cares about ballet and opera?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, That was completely blown out of proportion too.
Yes.
He's saying, I don't want to see movies go the way of these old art forms that used to be very popular, but are now no longer as popular. And they dragged him over it. And
he was like, right, by the way.
He was right. He was correct. I mean, it's like vaudeville and everything.
Yeah.
But okay. But to bring it back to the point and to hit the dismount, Ricochet was dead wrong in this, and he should have never said that. And it was stupid. And if he had gotten punished, I would have been okay with it. I was just a little uncomfortable with people then pushing, hey, you know what? We got a bunch of people around here. Start passing around the pitchforks and torches.
Well, and I brought this up when this broke, and I don't know if we were going to even talk about this, but I'm going to bring it up now. And if we weren't supposed to, then you can tell me that we shouldn't have done this later. But the company also just brought in a woman who was very publicly a Sandy Truth denier and got raked over the coals for it.
Yes.
And never apologized.
Never apologized. And the answer to your questions there is money.
Right. Exactly. And if Ricochet had been fired over this, and I don't think he should be, and I would not be happy if he was. But if he was, I mean, it's a double standard because one of them is Ronda Rousey and one of them is Rick O'Shea.
There's plenty of double standards. There's plenty of who gets forgiven and who doesn't. Like back in 2016, people were looking for anyone with any curiosity towards Trump to not work in wrestling again. But then I was a little uncomfortable with Zack Sabre Jr. and someone he endorsed because I don't find that person to be a very good person on certain subjects as well. So it's like, but we can't, there is no equality to any of this. And it's one of these things where it's like, the Jay Briscoe thing still rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
There was somebody, and to me, there's somebody in wrestling media who leaked that to somebody at
and Zach Wentz too.
And Zach that was stupid. And if he just apologizes, and it should be the end of it, and that should have been the end of it. But
it doesn't matter what he does now. Yeah,
it doesn't matter what he does. He's always the guy who did something dumb in his 20s. Like, hey, look, I shaved a Hitler mustache onto myself. Isn't this funny? Send it to a friend, and then so much happens when you're dating somebody, and then they just decide, I don't like you anymore. I'm gonna ruin your life.
Exactly. Yeah,
you're just like,
I should correct myself. She did apologize, but it was 10 years later, and I don't think anybody really.
I don't think anybody believed her at that time. It was just,
and honestly, she was very young, and I bet you she probably doesn't even feel that way now. But she said it at the time, and I don't think people should be held accountable for what they did 10 years ago.
I think certain opinions you shouldn't be held accountable for, but I do think actions you should be held accountable for. Like if you like the speaking out people, most of those people, I have no problem.
Oh yeah. All right. So I think that's about all we need to say about that. We can get on with the show. So this show was very much a show. They always say that, they never announce anything for an AEW, the show after an AEW pay-per-view because they never know who's going to be available to work. And that was very much this show. I mean, they announced 3 matches for the show and one of them didn't even happen. So, obviously some people were pretty banged up after Sunday. But surprise of all surprises, the person that opened the show was Will Ospreay, which, I predicted he would appear on Revolution. I thought it made a lot of sense.
Yeah, we both did.
Yeah. And by the way, did tickets went on sale for All In? Is there been any word about ticket sales or anything like that? Or because I said I've been offline.
It's been 3 days. I don't think so.
They haven't said anything. Okay. We both thought, but I thought it was going to be like, I'm going to be back soon. I'll be in the Owen. I'm going to be wrestling on Wednesday and I'm going to do a match where I give Blake Christian of all people 80% of the match.
All right. Let me rant on this a little bit.
Okay.
Because I said something on the board, and I think I got ragged. I haven't checked the replies yet, but I go, there's no reason to do this match unless he loses. It would be the most interesting thing to do, the Wrestle Dynasty Kenny story. I'm not ready to come back yet because this is just, or to sell tickets. And I don't think Fresno was not sold out. There wasn't like a huge swath of tickets to be had for a Will Ospreay match. It makes the comeback at All In less special in some ways. To me, I get we're going to have a 3.5 star Dave's going to say it's a good match in the Observer Friday morning, get the ring rust off type of thing. But we're not like Bryan Danielson tried to tell a story here, but they weren't telling that story in the ring. He was trying to tell the story of, well, maybe he's not as sharp as he used to be.
No, and I mean, you know what infuriated me? So they said that, and that is the story they were telling in the ring. Like Ospreay was selling stuff, and Blake Christian was taking most of the match and everything. So they do all this
way out of his element. If that was the story, I mean, he needed to oversell that. But he wasn't prepared.
when the match was over, and Will Ospreay, ducked a move, hit his hidden blade, and got the win after being hit. Like I think he had about 4 straight kickouts.
Right.
Then Excalibur says, after spending the whole match telling us how beaten up he was and everything, the first thing he says is, Will Ospreay back and better than ever before. And I'm like,
and then he goes and he fights 2 people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then not just 2 people, 2 Death Riders. I got to say, when I was taking notes today, they were completely acting up. And I've got Will Ospreay versus Blake Christian. And then my write-up is about Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd. So I lost a bunch of notes here. So
it's kind of like AEW commentary in the first 2 minutes where I'm thinking Tony is in Excalibur's ear going, okay, we have to hard sell that Tony Storm isn't in this match with Marina Shafir. And Danielson next to him has no idea that this curveball is coming. And so he's talking about Ospreay coming out, and he turns to Danielson and he goes, Mina Shirakawa fighting Marina Shafir. What do you think about that? And Brian doesn't have a single opinion on it because he's so locked in.
Well, what's so weird is they announced the Tony match at the beginning of the show, and then during the intros they said it wasn't happening. Then why did you announce it 5 minutes ago? I was so confused. And apparently they filmed something backstage that was supposed to air but didn't.
It aired on social media in its completion.
Right, but they should have put it on the show.
Well, they put part of it on the show. Was
that during the intros? Was that during the ring intros? Maybe that's why I missed it.
No. It was right before Marina got her entrance in. They had taped, so it was okay. They had taped the attack, and then Mina cuts this big promo about how she's going to fight, but they cut it off right at the Mina part of the promo.
Gotcha. Okay. So, anyways, Will wins, and then he's cuts a promo, tells people he missed him, called out Jon Moxley. So Moxley's back to being a heel.
Yes,
and his whole crew again.
It's this stupid. We can't have a strict line of demarcation for if the Death Riders are friggin' heels or baby faces. It's just whatever we need them to be in this angle with that certain member. It's a conglomeration of sorts.
You don't understand storytelling.
Japanese wrestling.
Yeah, you don't understand storytelling, Jeff. This is deep storytelling. You've just been brainwashed by Vince for the last 40 years.
Oh, there are no baby faces and heels. Everybody's a shade of gray, and he's stone cold Jon Moxley.
Except everybody but Jon Moxley is a baby face or a heel.
Yes.
So they come out. Will Ospreay holds off Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta by himself.
I need to circle back to this because it's driving me insane, Paul. The whole point of the Continental Classic was to give Jon Moxley absolution for being an asshole.
Yeah.
I did this for all you fans.
Yeah.
Best fans in the world. AEW cuts this promo in front of 3 guys who want to turn on him. Pretty much.
And what did I say at the time?
Did you say
I said, what happens when Will Ospreay comes back and needs to get revenge on Jon Moxley? Oh, well, don't worry about it. It'll all play out. Oh, we're gonna Bobby Ewing this thing and pretend that the last 5 months.
Exactly what they did. They Bobby Ewing this.
Yeah. And for people that don't get that reference,
Alliance. Jason, that's such a great reference. Yes. Are they heels or baby faces? Let's open the box and see.
Schrodinger's Alliance. So anyways, he fights off Moxley and Yuta, and then he's got Moxley. He's going to put him in a Tiger Driver, and then he gets hits from behind by Pac. Pac puts on the brutalizer, and Ospreay, he's working over Ospreay's neck, and then finally security and referees are out there and release the hold. And that was that. So Will Ospreay is hurt again, I guess. I don't know. He'll probably be back next week. I assume we're getting Ospreay and Pac at the pay-per-view. Or maybe on Dynamite next week. We might even get Ospreay and
Wait, what's
John.
the next pay-per-view?
Dynasty on April 12th.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, 3 weeks. So it's
that'll be a pack match, and then it'll probably get
Moxley at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, is Double or Nothing before All In?
Oh, way before All In.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think he'll be in the Continental or in the Owen. So, so we had Moxley and Yuta out there already, and out comes the Bang Bang Gang to wrestle them. And it was Juice Robinson and Ace Austin, and it was fine. They had a match. They went back and forth, and I mean, I don't know why this match happened, just because all 4 guys were healthy, I guess. And eventually,
the most amazing part of this is they've killed any goodwill towards the Bang Bang Gang by getting rid of that great entrance they used to have.
Yep. And Ace Austin, I will say, when he showed up in AEW, I looked at him and I thought, oh my God, that guy's put on 15 pounds since he was in TNA.
In his legs,
in legs and his upper body. And he's probably put on another 10 to 15 pounds since then. His freaking legs. They call them, I don't know if I think Riccaboni called them Quadzilla. That's a good name. I like that.
They're impressive.
But his upper body is pretty big too. Like our friend Jeremy Feinstone called him like a mini Pac almost. And I see it. Like he's heading there. He's not there yet, but he's heading there. And he ended up losing. He took the Death Rider after Yuta dove onto Juice Robinson on the outside, and actually Yuta set up the Death Rider by hitting Austin with a Busaku knee. I should point out, young Wheeler Yuta got his head shaved about a month ago. Is not selling it at all, and in fact, he looks so much better with the shaved head than he did with the raggedy hair that he had before.
The funny thing is, it's grown and he's shaved it again.
Yes. Yeah, because his hair was darker on Collision on Saturday than it was today. So yeah, he's shaving it. I guess he likes his short hair now.
He keeps losing matches at the dojo.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, the match was fine. It was all right.
It was fine. I'm just so frustrated. Like, you hear the music for the Death Riders, you go, oh God, what are they going to be this week?
Yeah.
It's become
I think they're going to be heels for a while now. And at least they're all heels now. It's not like, on the same show, like Marina's playing 3 different roles. And
I don't know wasn't it during the Battle Royal where like Sammy or not Sam. I can't remember his name anymore.
Wheeler, Danny.
Danny.
Yeah.
It was like get cut like this baby.
Oh yeah, he's doing a baby facing on Ciampa.
Yes.
Yeah, because he beat Ciampa, you may recall.
What are we doing?
I don't know. Booker of the Year, everybody. Then we got a video package on the coffin match that we're having tonight for God knows what reason. I watched that match right before I watched Dynamite, and then I found out Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd are having a coffin match, and I was like, why? They didn't really tell us why. But so they did this thing, and oh my God, I wrote every single thing that happened down, and I don't have my freaking notes. I don't think. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Okay. No. Oh, yeah. So Gabe cuts his promo, and he asks him to come out to the parking lot and meet them. But before that, before we see them in the parking lot, we get a promo from Kenny Omega backstage, and he said Swerve is he's proved he's the most dangerous man in AEW, but when I think of danger, I think of risk. So why don't we roll the dice? Let's play some Risk. So I didn't know Kenny was a Risk fan, but it's really big here in Winnipeg.
It's a game of world conquest. So yeah,
it is. So he asked Strickland to put his number 1 contender spot on the line, and I guess because Swerve had beaten Brody King, he's the number 1 contender. And then we're going to hear from Swerve Strickland later on tonight. Then we go to the parking lot. Well, they said it was a parking lot, but it sure as heck didn't really look like the parking lot. It looked like they were like nowhere near the building. But
Exactly.
Gabe Kidd pulls up in a truck, I think it was, and gets out of his vehicle. He's waiting for Darby, and then all of a sudden, this car comes running at him at full speed. Gabe Kidd jumps out of the way. Darby jumps out of the car.
Darby has Darbyized this car.
Yeah.
With a third grade decorations on it.
Yeah. And so they have this brawl, and my notes are gone again, but I'm just going to do this from memory. So
it was a Darby match. That's all.
No, never mind the match. So before the match even happens, Darby puts Gabe Kidd in the trunk of his car, and I'm like, okay, they're going to drive to the arena. Oh no. Darby proceeds to drive over a hill of garbage, flip his car, and
we're watching Hardcastle and McCormick in 1983 or something.
I didn't see any jump cuts.
I think the Jay Cannell show where there's like a ramp and then the A team is chasing a car and like the car does the flip.
These idiots did this without stunt guys.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Oh, we can handle it.
Yeah. So Darby rolls his car, climbs out of it, goes back into the car, presses the trunk release. Gabe Kidd falls out of the vehicle. Then Darby finds a truss, puts Gabe Kidd on it, and starts to roll towards the arena, I guess. Then they cut back to the announcers, and the announcers are, look, what have we just seen? Blah, blah, blah. And the crowd, I should point out, is deathly silent through all this. They couldn't give two shits about what they've seen.
I thought Darby, we were going to see a coffin match. Nope, we're going to watch
So Darby finally rolls into the arena with the crate. And then the bell rings when they get close to the ring. Darby just collapses. Then he get to the ring. He threw Gabe off the top, pulls out a straight jacket and his skateboard out of the truss, puts Gabe in a chair, slaps him out, puts on the straight jacket. Gabe went to hit him with the skateboard, or Darby went to hit him with the skateboard, but Gabe came to, gave him a low blow. Gabe's bleeding from a cut on his eye, probably from the car accident. Then Darby gets cut open. Gabe starts biting the cut. They went through a break. Both guys are on the top rope. Darby's biting off his skin and spitting it out. He's all covered in blood. Gave him a top rope code red. Fans are chanting, holy shit. Then these assholes start chanting, we want tables. And thankfully, Gabe and Darby didn't give them to him. He gave him a scorpion death drop. Darby went to the top. Gabe kicked the ref into the ropes. That was smart. Then
by the way, I'm not spoiling anything, but when you watch the main event from Revolution, there's a point where they start chanting, "We want fire."
Oh yeah.
And Hangman's like, "Does anybody have a lighter?" And I'm like, "No," because they confiscate them at Crypto Arena.
Oh, funny. That is good. So so Gabe starts making a comeback with no hands. Gave him a power slam somehow with no hands. Then he gave him a drop kick. Then he dove onto him, almost knocked him into the coffin. Gabe tried to close the coffin on Darby. Darby made a comeback by biting his nose. Gabe rolled into the ring. Darby starts beating the shit out of him with a skateboard. Then he hit 2 straight coffin drops. Dragged Kid out of the ring. Kid kicked him at the last minute. Darby used a belt to sweep his legs. Then he hit him with a tope and he knocked Gabe into the coffin, and the door automatically shut when he landed, and that was it.
So this is the blow off to the Dogs and Darby feud, right?
Yep. So the Dogs go to Collision.
No, what? The Dogs. No, this is a setup for probably for Finley to then get revenge for Kid.
Oh my God, you're probably right. So then Darby gets a mic and he says, "I'm going to hold that throttle until I see God or the AEW World Championship. Maxwell Jacob Freeman, I'm coming." This is when I figured out that MJF won the main event. And I will say, the way he delivered this, like you expected just this massive pop. This baby face, one of the top baby faces, just won a casket match, just called out the World Championship. Mm-hmm. He paused. There was zero reaction to him challenging MJF. Like nothing.
So you're telling me in a company with Swerve, Kenny, Kyle, Will, John Moxley, that nobody wants to see Darby Allin hold the big title? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I guess.
Takeshita, Okada.
Yeah.
Huh.
But man, and I will say I tweeted this out, and I did have someone in the company say crowd wasn't great tonight, which surprised me because actually they were good at some points, but man, here like they just like I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Like I was surprised.
Well, it's you watch this feral child.
True.
Now I'm going for the world title.
Yeah.
Huh. All right, we just watched Texas Death a couple nights ago.
Yeah, now we got a coffin match. And somebody that I know and like a lot told me that they thought that should have been on the pay-per-view. I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird, but
I would have preferred this to the
match they had. Yeah, I guess so. It was just kind of goofy. I don't know.
But it would have been excessiveness with the amount of hardcore stuff that was on that card to have a coffin match on there. Just
true. That is true. So then we get a video package for the Jurassic Express bus. Luchasaurus is driving. Perry walks out, or he's in his house.
This is Valley Village, I think. I think he's right across that's right across the street where that part was filmed, by the way.
So he's got his national belt. He packs it up. He comes out of this house that, I mean, it's very modest.
Houses are expensive out here, Paul.
Okay, so he's got an acorn in his hand, and he puts his hand out, and a flying squirrel lands in his hand and eats the acorn. What is this?
He's a jungle boy, so he talks to animals, Paul.
Oh, so he's back to that now. He's gone from being not behind us.
It's a Dr. Dolittle gimmick. He's gonna have an army of animals come in and help him defend.
So he gets on the bus, and Luchasaurus starts driving away. Then they cut to a gas station where Luchasaurus is filling up the gas tank with one arm. Freaking lazy Jack just sitting there watching him.
He can talk to a dinosaur and he can talk to a squirrel.
Oh. And then they show this goofy looking map with the bus, with the graphic of the bus hopping up and down the map until
there's no way that was Bakersfield, by the way, that they stopped it. Otherwise, they would have all gotten meth and gotten back on that bus.
So they end up in Fresno. Then they show the bus pulling up. The door opens. The dinosaur roars, and then Jack Perry says Jurassic Express has arrived in Fresno. He said it's a good night for me and my family. I'm teaming with two guys who are like brothers to me. And then one of the Jacksons says, speaking of family, that was a rough night for us. What type of examples will we be to our children if we didn't start fighting our way to the top again? And then the other one says, that starts tonight when we face Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta, and someone we used to call family, one Okada. And then the dinosaur says, bitch. That was
you know how this should have ended is just Jack Perry with a glove on his hand, sticking his arm out, and like a falcon comes out and he just puts a hood on it or something.
That's weird. He's been doing this gimmick forever, and they're just now
he's trying to find a character.
Yeah. Smiling Happy Jack. I love this comment from Curryhead. The best part of tonight was his girlfriend saying he looks like Luke Perry. That's funny. Oh, jeez. I got to keep checking the notes here to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah. Okay. So then we get Swerve out. Actually, first we get Nana. He's in the ring and he says, "Get up and stand up for someone who is very important in All Elite Wrestling. Did you all see what happened on Sunday? Did you see the annihilation and why we call him the most dangerous man in All Elite Wrestling? Without further delay, the boss himself, Mr. Dangerous, Swerve Strickland." So Swerve comes out, and I think he got on the announce table, or was he on the ropes or something? I don't know. He's very subdued. They turned the lights off behind him. Crowd was very quiet through most of this. And he says, "This past Sunday, me and Brody went to war. But the only true winners of war," hey, this is a risk thing. Is it the only true winners of war are the ones with power?
What's your risk strategy, Paul? Where do you like to start? What continent?
Oh, I South America.
Okay. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. But if you ask me, did I enjoy beating the hell out of that man in his home state of California? Of course I did. Was I satisfied? No. Because the power in AEW still lies elsewhere. Power
Oh.
is more important than championships. You're spitting at this point.
Oh.
Now I've dealt with organizations with power all my life, back in the military, traveling the independents, stuck in developmental. If it wasn't for the Young Bucks interfering in my title match, I'd be a 2-time AEW champion right now. And that brings me to Kenny Omega. Very fascinated with him. Unbeknownst to me, I'm the number one contender. Well, what does that mean if I don't have the power to protect it? Kenny, you want to offer everything up on the table, but you have no leverage. It makes no sense to beat you twice and get nothing for it, man. But there is one thing you have that interests me. That's your power, Kenny.
No, don't make it about the corner office.
I don't want you to remove from power. I want your power. And I want to block out anyone who thinks they can just get it. So if you want this rematch between me and you, offer up your EVP status. And just to make things very clear, when I beat you, I, Swerve Strickland, whose house, will become AEW's new executive vice president. Good Lord. We're back to this again? Are we going to have heel Swerve running around making dumb decisions like the Young Bucks?
Joe Pearl, my friend from Fightful, reminded me of this, and I was unaware of it. March 1st, 2025. Kenny Omega's cutting a promo on Collision about Takeshita and being unburdened by his former friends and being unburdened by the baggage of the EVP role that he no longer has.
I thought I was remembering something that didn't happen, but this did happen.
I originally thought that Swerve and Will had won the EVP titles from the Bucks.
No,
and I was incorrect on that. But then Joel comes in and goes, no, Kenny had abdicated his EVP position during the Don Callis feud.
Yes.
So that he could concentrate on beating up the Don Callis family. So apparently Swerve is unaware of the long-term storytelling of one Tony Khan. And is going after an EVP position. Or maybe Kenny came back and he got his EVP.
That is what we're going to hear now. Kenny abdicated it temporarily, is what they're going to tell us. And they're going to tell us that it was Christopher Daniels who was the acting EVP while Kenny was away. But then when Kenny came back, he took over the EVP thing, even though it's never been mentioned on television. But this is something that real fans know.
We're getting office politics lore.
Yeah.
In our.
This brings me back to TNA. You remember they used to always talk about the power? Jeff Jarrett.
Stroke. I have the stroke.
Yes. Yeah. That's what this is.
It is.
It's just dumb. No, like, does a single person watching actually think? Let's just put aside the logic behind this of where Kenny isn't even an EVP in storyline. Is there a single person watching that believes that if Swerve Strickland beats Kenny Omega in a worked pro wrestling match, that he's actually going to become the EVP? Of course.
Oh, we're getting vignettes. Him and Nana.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah. We are.
Heel authority figures. That's what makes wrestling fun, right?
Oh, without spoiling anything, did MJF just beat Hangman, or was there a heel turn by? There was obviously no Kevin Knight heel turn, right?
No, because they won the trios titles.
Right, yeah. So that was weird. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen here. I assume
winner gets the corner office, Paul.
I think Kenny's gonna win, though. I think Kenny's gonna win because the pay-per-view's in Canada, so it makes sense to have Kenny and MJF for the title.
All right,
and then we'll do Swerve and Andrade for a number one contenders match,
probably.
So then they go to the back to Renee, and she's got Revolution. She tells Speedball, Revolution was a nice star-making night for you. It's like, I just watched it. I didn't really see it that way, but okay. And so Mike Bailey responds, some people you just look at and you know right away that they're a star. Like my partner, Kevin Knight. That wasn't me. I had to prove to myself. I was a wrestler for nearly 20 years to get everyone else to believe in me. These are the people I look up to, like Kenny Omega. He started from nothing and he worked to become all elite, and he became a world trios champion, just like I am, and to be AEW World Championship like one day I hope to be. That makes you not just a star, but a winner. he actually did a pretty good job.
It wasn't bad, but I laughed at it. I had to struggle in the indies for 20 years. I'm like, you didn't have to struggle. You just broke U.S. immigration law.
Well, there's
and
that.
kept on getting suspended.
And he could have gone to developmental, but he turned them
By
down.
the way, that was a fantastic French-Canadian speaking English promo from you, Paul. Reminded me very much of Rosie from Strange Brew, if you remember.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I remember Strange Brew. Take off. Eh? Yeah. So that leads into Mark Davis and Mike Bailey. And I am 1000% convinced that the reason we see Mark Davis on television each and every single week is because Brian Alvarez challenged Tony Khan and said that he was going to bench Mark Davis as soon as Jake Doyle got hurt.
Yes.
And we've seen Mark Davis on television every week. Mark Davis is a fine wrestler. Don't get me wrong. His matches are usually pretty good, especially when he's wrestling a smaller guy. And they had a good match. I mean,
no, it was a fun match. My problem is, hey, if we're going to make Mark Davis this much of a monster, let's not beat him the first 3 weeks he's on TV in this gimmick with Don Callis, because now I don't care about him.
No, I mean, you know what? I will say there was one point where he hit something. He hit a power bomb. I think it's where he hit he hit a clothesline, then a pile driver. And I thought that was the finish. And Bailey kicked out. And I was surprised. But Bailey ends up winning. He hits the flipping double knees, didn't cover him. Then he hit the roundhouse, went to the rope, hit the ultimate weapon, got the win. And it was a good match, really good match. But I thought this meant, okay, these World Trios champions are moving on from the Callis family. But nope, they announced later on that they're going to have another
match. Mike Bailey has a problem, and I love Mike Bailey. But part of the Mike Bailey connection with the audience was the old Karate Kid gimmick.
Yes, and he stopped doing it.
And he can't do it here. And he's also getting a little bit long in the tooth to do the Karate Kid young guy.
Well, he did. You remember, like, one of his first weeks in, remember he hit the crane kick?
Yeah.
And it was like one of the best. I was like,
yeah, I should go back to it.
Yeah, I marked out for that.
I think, you know what? I think that would connect with American audiences more. Yeah. I mean, yeah, sure, it's past its prime in terms of cultural relevancy for the most part. Although, we did have Cobra Kai and all that.
But that kick,
stuff.
I mean, that kick it
was fantastic when he did it.
When you hit it right, it's always going to pop a crowd. So Saturday, they announced that we're going to have Saturday and Sunday, it's a 2-part collision, slam dunk collision or something. Kyle Fletcher versus Robbie Eagles for the TNT title, teacher versus student. I guess Robbie Eagles taught Kyle Fletcher how to wrestle. So
Robbie Eagles will be all elite after that match. I guarantee it.
He's already in New Japan, but yeah, you're probably right. Then we got the Brawling Birds against the Sisters of Sin, and Claudio and Daniel Garcia against Commander and Mascara Dorada. So now that the Death Riders are heels, no more of this Don Callis family versus Death Riders. That feels just over. There was no collusion.
There's nothing to that. He's not going through the entire family. It was just a beat to Takeshita for the title.
Fernando asked Robbie who. Good question. He's very good. You'll like him. Robbie. Oi, oi, oi.
So is Madison Eagles, but she never got a big run in the company. But what was I going to say about? Damn it! Oh, the Sisters of Sin versus the Brawling Birds.
Yeah, that should be.
We have to get that Inspiration versus Sisters of Sin match at some time. I know it has to be on
Are the Inspirations still like alive?
They just did like it was TJPW.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, but it was like in a high school gym somewhere, like the American version of TJPW.
But they are all elite, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
They got the graphic and everything, and for one match, they get killed by the birds.
So next we got the best thing on the show. And it was a Maxwell Jacob Friedman promo after the show on Sunday. He says, greatest dog collar match of all time, greatest Iron Man match of all time, greatest Texas death match of all time, greatest AEW world champion of all time. Adrenaline is a hell of a drug. It'll stop you from feeling pain. Well, the adrenaline is worn off a bit. I feel everything right now. Every bump, every bruise, every drop of blood pouring out of my body. But it's all worth it because I won. This Triple B right here, the only world championship in the sport that matters. And it all happened on the night I turned 30. Happy birthday to me. What a way to celebrate. At only 30 years of age, I've accomplished more than most Hall of Famers have in their entire careers. I'm going to go down as one of the greatest of all time, and I'm well on my way. And Hangman Adam Page, your ass is off the board, Chief. I still got 20 more years to go. So for the next 20 years, you'll be where you belong in the mid card. But MJF has a one-way ticket to GOAT status. And only one name will be regarded as the best of all time. And that is the Devil. He rattled off a bunch of nicknames. Finished it off with Big Hebrew, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to do what the greatest athletes in the world have done since the dawn of time. And then someone from off camera says, Max, you've just defeated Adam Page. What are you going to do next? He says, I'm going to Disney World. And he kissed the camera with his bloody lips. This was fan-fucking-tastic.
Disney adults, the biggest heels on earth. So, yes.
Yeah.
No, I just enjoy having a champion who cuts champion promos. I liked this.
Oh.
I did. I'm one of those guys.
And putting over the belt and putting not just the belt, but putting over the match that he just had and selling it, like not just saying, I beat that guy, no, he freaking sold the match.
Well, his gimmick is awesome because he's the shit heel who is a coward, but then he goes in and does your specialty match and beats you at it. And it's such a great little thing. So
yeah, it's a modern day Ric Flair. In a way, but better because Ric Flair cheated. MJF doesn't even cheat. He just, all right. Then we got a promo from Okada and Roppongi Vice, I want to say. Yep. Okay. So he says, Okada says, Young Bucks and Jungle Jack, you think I was your family? You're so stupid. And Trent says, and by the way, your bus isn't cool either. And then Okada says, I'm only loyal to one family, unlike Takeshita, who shook hands with Jon Moxley. And I will say, when he said that, RPG Vice kind of looked at it like they side on him. Like they're not, nobody's buying, like nobody likes what he's doing.
The story of the Callis family is that Okada is going rogue, always talking about Takeshita when everybody wants Takeshita to be part of the Callis family.
Yeah. So then I think it was Rocky says, tonight, the Rainmaker and Roppongi Vice pick up a main event victory for the Don Callis family. It's for our fearless leader. And then Trent finishes off with, love you, Don. That was good. Then we got a match. Marina Shafir and Mina Shirakawa, no holds barred.
What the hell was this?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, everything about this match confused me. I wrote down a lot of words. Now, like sometimes I'll say, I wrote down a lot of words, but here's what happened. I'm actually going to read everything I wrote because I can't believe that I saw what I saw, so I'm just going to read it.
Okay.
Here we go. They're using weapons. Mina's kicking Marina. She's no selling it at first, but then she starts selling. Mina grabbed a bucket of champagne from under the ring. Took a bottle out, swung it at Marina, but Marina stopped her. She hit her with a one-handed choke slam, then starts leveling her with forearms. Took her down with a bunch of judo throws. They went through a break. Mina starts making a comeback. Marina has an open bottle of champagne that apparently she was chugging out of during the break, but she dropped it and it started spraying everywhere. Then she went for a chair, Mina went for a chair. Marina kicked her in the gut. Mina hit something resembling La Mystica into a chair. She went to the top, hit a drop kick, hit her in the back with a chair. Crowd's chanting, let's go, Mina. She hit a sling blade from the top of the chair for 2. Bashed her in the back a couple times with the chair. Then she went for the figure 4, but Marina kicked out of it. Mina hit her with a tornado, but Marina caught her and put on mother's milk. But Marina clawed her in the eyes to get out of it. I believe this is the first time anybody's ever escaped mother's milk. And it was basically no sold. Then she was on the ropes, and Marina kicked her in the side of the head. I noted here that the crowd is completely silent for all this. Marina pulled a table out from under the ring, got a huge pop. Then they traded chops on the apron. Marina went to slam her through the table, but completely overshot the table. Mina's head hit the ground hard. Marina rolls over, and she is scared to death, and she asked her, are you okay? I noted she definitely does not look okay. Marina rolled her into the ring, covered her with a pose for 2. Then Mina grabbed a champagne bottle. The crowd's booing. She hit Marina. The bottle shatters. Then she hit her with a back fist. Then she hit a Storm Zero. And she pinned her. Thus ends the career of Marina Shafir. I mean, not literally, but what the fuck?
You know, Mina has a lot of personality. So Ronda comes in next week and destroys Mina, I guess. I don't know.
Are we gonna? I don't think we're gonna see Ronda a lot. Have you heard anything about that?
Not until the fight. She has a fight trained for,
right? And is she all elite?
Not that Gina Carano's a tough opponent, but you know.
No. Is she all elite, or like did she sign a long-term contract? Any details or anything?
I haven't heard anything. I didn't see a graphic of anything. She's probably just part elite,
or just per date, or just
she's here
doing her friend a solid. Well, and they're also telling this story.
She's
and I
here to clown TKO, is what she is.
I didn't put this in my notes, but apparently, like, they're saying that it wasn't actually Marina that attacked Tony backstage. It was somebody else. So you have a mystery attacker, and it might be Ronda.
Might be Marina, or might be Mina.
You think
Mina was in the room when she got there. So who knows? I don't.
This was so weird, this match.
You have 38 women on the roster. It could be just to reintroduce somebody,
or it could be somebody new.
It's Camille. We gotta
always be somebody new. Oh my god, I keep seeing people bring her up. It's like, I mean, God bless you. I mean, she's good. I mean, well, she's got a good presence. Yeah,
she's fine. She'd be better than Lena Cross right now in that role.
So Mina stood over her and she was screaming after the match, and Marina just lied there. Didn't get up. As far as I know, they dragged her out of the ring. I don't know.
I think what this was this a 1-to-1 port of putting Mina in the Toni Storm match, and it was supposed to happen like this, and Toni Storm was supposed to win. That's what it feels like.
Everything that happened here was supposed to happen with Toni. Toni beat Marina clean on the pay-per-view, I should point out.
Yes, and this was going to be the revenge, and then Toni was going to get this win and move on.
What revenge? She beat her.
Well, I mean, Marina said...
Why was Toni and Marina having a no holds barred match? Anyways, was that ever explained? Okay,
long term storytelling of some kind.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Renee's backstage with Andrade. Congratulate him for beating Bandito. She asks what's next. He says, "Thank you, Renee. I want the AEW World Title." And John Cruz interrupts, and he's got a suitcase, and it's from MJF. He says, "Do me a solid, accept this large amount of, or sorry." He's also got a phone that's got Don Callis on the other end. And he says, "Do me a solid, accept this large amount of money on behalf of the Don Callis family." So Andrade asks him, "Are you telling me we're working with MJF?" And John Cruz is nodding his head. And Don Callis says, "We're just doing business. Darby Allin has become a pest for MJF. I said we'd take care of that in exchange for a large amount of money. Poppy, you're my money man. Take the money." So Cruz handed him the briefcase. Says gracias. Andrade takes the briefcase, but he looks all forlorn. He doesn't like this idea.
John Cruz continues to be my favorite flake.
Yeah, he's good. And I'm sure he went out there and lost the match of Serpentico on the tapings. Anybody that gets a double check, I'm happy with them. Get paid.
He's the Jack Victory of AEW.
What did Jack Victory do?
Jack Victory used to be do 3 or 4 different matches on WCW pay-per-views under different masks.
Oh,
and as Jack Victory, yeah, he was like Russian Assassin #2. He was Jack Victory. He was like the terrorist. I mean, he'd be all sorts of guys.
Awesome. Well, but for the longest time, when I would watch Ring of Honor, like if you had John Cruz in a match, you would also have Serpentico in a match later on.
Yeah,
they would both wrestle on the same show. Now you don't see that as much. It's one or the other, but never both. Everybody thinks it's Takeshita leaving the Callis family. I think they're booting Okada, man. I've been on
Here's
this.
The weird thing is that they've been working on breakups for at least 4 of the guys in there because they've been working on it with Kyle too.
break off and we could have a separate Callous family extended or something,
Collision becomes Callous family wrestling, and they all just wrestle each other.
Or it'd be like the NWO B team, right?
Yes, exactly.
But they're actually the A team. Then we got the main event, and it was the Young Bucks and Jack Perry against Okada and RPG Vice, which is Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero. So the announcers were selling, and the Bucks being upset because they couldn't get revenge on Sunday. They announced for Collision, LFI's in action, Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong against Jay Lethal and Lee Johnson. Oh, sign me up for that one. Divine Dominion is in action, which they were mega cross for exactly one show, and they realized that was a terrible name, so they came up with a worse name. I don't know. Maybe it's Divine Dominion.
This is a terrible name, but it's better than mega whatever they want to call it. Like the
that is
portmanteaus, I am sick of them. I'll take something dopey like Divine Dominion. Now we need to get Lena across a bigger headdress.
Yes.
To match Mega, and that would be awesome.
Now I did see a graphic, but I didn't hear the announcers mention it, but they also showed a graphic for Tommaso Ciampa and Leo Rush. Did you see Leo Rush's new gimmick? He was in the Battle Royal.
The contacts with the bald head.
He's hopping around like he's Gollum.
Yes.
Where's Action Andretti?
Hanging on to the jackets, the puffy jackets with the spikes.
Oh, so the crew is no more? He's now Gollum?
Yes.
Okay.
My precious.
Yeah.
He's going to go after the ring, and then he's going to go after the title.
Well, he's going to beat Ciampa and then go for the TNT title, I'm sure.
Sure.
So the fans were into this match after the break. Trent broke up a super kick party. There's a lot of shit happen here. So where are we here? Cal's family did the
it was a Young Bucks party match with a couple of Jungle Boy spots in there.
So I'm literally right. I got notes about this match, and I'm right again. So they pick them up for pile drivers. They all reverse it. They hit low blows. They all do roll ups. And then the next thing I've got written down is Beth Copeland is a badass. She doesn't need me to protect her. I'm like, I need a new computer. Anyways, the Young Bucks won. Perry hit the sacrifice knee to get the win. Actually, it's Perry that got the win after Rocky Romero had a BT trigger. So
then he's shuttled out of there real quick so that the Bucks can cut a promo.
Exactly. So one of my friends messaged me and says, "Oh, it's a miracle of miracles. There's no overrun tonight because the match ended like right at the top of the hour, unless this promo goes 10 minutes." So the Bucks cut a promo, and I wrote it all down, but I don't have my notes. But from memory, they weren't happy. They failed in front of their family, but their dad talked to them after, and their dad said, "You're the Young Bucks, by God, get up and keep fighting." And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to claw our way back to the top. We'll go through everybody, and there's no tag team in AEW that's going to stop us. On this day, out comes Cope, and he does his full entrance, and then he looks to the back, and then we see the Christian countdown, and he comes out. So they waste a couple minutes doing their full entrances. Then they get into the ring, and Edge cuts a condescending promo, calling them, you're great, but we're better. Basically,
I didn't. No. We're still playing good cop, bad cop here. I don't think what he said was condescending. He said, "Hey, I respect the hell out of you. You had a hell of a match. We're a good team too. And hey, it's personal with me because Beth was attacked, et cetera, et cetera." And then Christian comes in and goes, I just want to get paid. And it's so the Jeff Hawkins gimmick, baby.
I was questioning. Okay. I was arguing with somebody about this, and I was like, okay, do we really need to put Christian and Cope on stage and have Copeland cutting his old man boring promos? And then the guy says to me, "Christian always entertains me." And I was like, yes, but he's been a heel. How we don't know what babyface Christian is going to be like. Well, babyface Christian is a heel.
Yes. So look, I want to win the titles because it'll make me a buttload of money. He said, "Thank you."
It's personal for you guys because your family got attacked. It's personal for him because my wife got attacked. It's personal for me too, because if we win these tag team titles, I'm gonna win a lot of money.
And Jeff Hawkins smiled, and his heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Yeah, so that he was great. Yeah. And so he says, but it's also personal because we get a chance to prove that not only are we the best tag team of our generation, we prove that we're the best tag team of your generation.
I love that line so much.
Yep, it was great. So then FTR comes out and they start to talk. Copeland tells him to shut up. They get to the ring. Copeland spears Dax out of his boots. Cage low blowed Cash because he's a heel. And they fought with the Bucks over the tag team titles. Crowd was chanting. Well, I should say they fought. They were struggling. They were each holding one end of the tag team titles. Fans are chanting "fight, fight, fight," and the Bucks just walked away and left them in the ring with the belts. And they announced here that Cope and Cage are going to be wrestling Dax and Cash in Canada for the tag team titles at Dynasty. And you really got the sense that whoever wins that is probably going to end up facing the Bucks down the road. Or it's going to be a three-way.
Three-way it all in. That's what we're building to.
Oh, this reminded me of something. Curryhead says both Matt and Cope tell Stokely to shut up. That's great. That reminded me that they blew off the Stokely in the wheelchair thing.
Yeah.
And it was like it never happened. Like
it should, and it was the wrong people to do it. That's a Beth Copeland spot,
right? And one of the Bucks just did a tope and landed on him and knocked him out of his chair, and that was that. That's over. And it barely even got a pop because it was in the middle of like a million insane things. Like that was a spot. Yeah, you needed Stokely on the top of a ramp or in the middle of the ring or something and taking a move. And it could have been the Bucks. It should have been Beth.
I'm just happy at the miracle that he can walk again.
Yeah. Well, he did get up at one point and knock someone off and then quickly got back in his chair. That was funny.
I wanted him to do the Peter Sellers from Strangelove. By Fuhrer, I can walk.
Yeah. The best of these will always and forever will be. It's the best moment of Linda McMahon's acting career when she got up out of the chair at WrestleMania.
And, no.
No?
The Nash one is fantastic.
What was that in? Where was that in?
WCW when he had the fake leg and he took off the blanket. He just stood up and got a ring and powerbombed somebody.
Oh, I
really like the Ron Wright one in Smoky Mountain is also.
Come on, that Linda one was great though. Like
I'm not saying it wasn't great. It was phenomenal because it's the best acting.
And I'm not even saying it's the best one of those. I'm saying it's the best moment of Linda McMahon's wrestling.
Okay, yeah.
So they also announced at the very end. The Trios champions are going to be defending their belts. Mystico and Jet Speed against Josh Alexander, El Clone, and Konosuke Takeshita. So, Don Callis family. Yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting. So, yeah, so that was Dynamite. Again, it was a pretty good show. Not a bad go-home show. I've seen better, or not a bad Fallout show, I should say. I've seen better. I've seen worse. It was entertaining. They set some things up for the pay-per-view. I think we got a pretty good idea of where we're going for most of the big stuff at the pay-per-view. Probably MJF. I don't think it's gonna be MJF Darby. I think it's gonna be Andrade Darby and probably MJF Kenny, maybe MJF Swerve.
And
think Hangman's off for a while.
That's a good question. It's one of those things where I think Kenny has to win, and I think he has to have the match in Canada. I think if
they do, so if Swerve beats Kenny, you could see Hangman return during the MJF Swerve match.
Possibly,
yeah. Curry had asked me if we're drinking peach moonshine. Ask me off air, dude.
Boy, you better be bringing your summer clothes for this. It's 94 degrees here in the Valley in LA in March. So Vegas is going to be a hot
It was
place.
minus 23 Celsius yesterday here. Today it got over 0. So, we were probably in the mid 30s and the snow's starting to melt. So, but it's still, it's still winter here, which sucks because winter officially ends. Tomorrow's the last day of winter, I believe. But I am looking forward to being in Vegas in just over a month. So that was Dynamite. Got anything to plug?
Shake them ropes. We're going to record tomorrow. Rob's back from his travels to Florida. Who's on the phone to Randy Orton? What did he think of Obafemi and Brock Lesnar?
What?
That was kind of awesome.
Did they have a match?
No, they had a meeting of sorts.
Okay.
I won't spoil it for you.
No, that's the next thing I have to watch is Raw.
But yes, we'll go over the road to WrestleMania and anything that he wanted to talk about from the pay-per-view and AEW as well. And that will drop probably late Thursday, early Friday into your podcatchers.
Awesome. And Garrett and I will be back, and we didn't do a takedown this week because I hadn't watched the pay-per-view yet, but we are going to be going every Tuesday now at, I think it's 11 p.m. No, midnight Eastern on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning kind of thing. So it's 9 o'clock Pacific. We'll be going live on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel. Probably do like a 30 to 40-minute show every week. So we're trying to set a time so that we will both be there, because we usually just do it whenever either one of us has time in our schedule, and that's not been working. So we're setting an actual time. So look forward to that, and it'll be in the audio feed the next day as well. So and then Jeff and I will be back next week. I think that's all I got to plug. So for Jeff Hawkins, I've been Paul Fontaine, and this has been the Dynamite Show.